You are now listening to Relationship Talk with Juanito.
All right. Big G.
What's that?
What it do, player?
I just maintaining, working these long hours.
Hey, welcome back.
Yes, sir.
To the Relationship Talk, man. Hey, and we're gonna go ahead and get into it. How things been for you?
Been a good week. I had a couple of people, you know what I'm saying, they viewed the podcast, you know what I'm saying, and they kind of like it. I only shared it with men though, you know what I'm saying, keeping the women out of it for right now.
Hey man, I had an opportunity to go to that Chris Brown concert this weekend, bro.
Yeah.
Off the chain.
Yeah, hope you didn't see nobody, any of your friends, lady, in there on their girls trip.
Well, dude, it was so many single females in there that I don't know how, as a single man, you weren't there looking for something.
Yes, indeed.
Now, I will tell you this though. There were a few females that had some questionable outfits on.
Oh, they always gonna be the question.
And when I say questionable, I ain't even talking about being half naked. Do you remember the aerobics instructors from like the 80s?
Yeah.
How they used to wear the one piece with the leggings and the
Yeah.
socks.
Yeah.
Just imagine a female wearing a one piece with no leggings, no socks, and some heels.
Okay. Running from Players Club.
Bruh, my sister-in-law was here, and she's Caribbean.
Yeah.
And uh when it comes to carnival and stuff like that, it ain't nothing for them to be rocking, some clothes that show a little skin.
Yeah.
Bruh, even my sister-in-law was like, what is that? Yeah, she was like, why would you step out the house like that?
The modern woman, baby. The modern woman. Feminism.
Hey,
The freedom.
man, hey, listen, we got a pretty good laugh out of that one, because as soon as she walked by, both me and her looked at each other like, for real though? That's how we doing it?
Hey. South Texas doing it that way.
Yeah, I guess. Hey, but let me ask you a question. Did you get a chance to see? Because I woke up this morning and looked at my phone and saw some pure foolishness. Did you get an opportunity to see, or have you heard about the young lady who was talking about how men who drive Mercedes are, she considered them sassy?
Bad bees is what she called them, bad bees. So yes, I saw it.
Well, hey man, I want to play that video, so if someone who's watching this doesn't know what we talking about, because I do want to get your perspective on it. I'm gonna play that video, and so that they get an opportunity to see what we talking about.
All right.
All right, you can see it.
I'm here. I see it.
I will happily be the first to say it. A man in a Mercedes is not a man. That's a bad bitch. In fact, a man pulling up in a Mercedes is a bad bitch waiting for you to hold his purse. Look, babe, I don't make the rules. It's just a feminine car. It's not me. When you look at it, it looks like a feminine car. When you look at a BMW, it's giving mask. Audi, mask. A Mercedes, babe, that's femme as fuck. It's giving girl. Toyota, that one is very gender neutral, I'm not gonna lie. Babe, a Mercedes, a Mercedes. Get out. If you're a man, get out.
All right. So I have some thoughts about it, but I want to hear your thoughts first.
Well, my thoughts about it is with like I told you last week, with this phone, baby, anything and everything can happen. So it gives everybody a voice, and she relayed her voice. But uh, there's a lot of critiques about people with cars. You know, they say what they say about the baby mama car, which is the what? The baby mama car is the what? You know?
If I had to guess, it would be the Nissan Altima or the Nissan Sentra.
Yes, yes. So I guess she's saying the Mercedes it's too elegant. So you know what I'm saying. So if you're a man in a Mercedes Benz C class, that's a little bit too elegant for you as a man. So but hey, you know what I'm saying, to each his own. It's this is a young lady who got on and said felt like, you know what I'm saying, she had something to say for today. And that was her thought. It wasn't a well thought out thought, but we got to give it to her. That was her thought.
So I kind of look at this from two different perspectives, right? I look at it from the man's perspective, right? Just as a man, and given the climate that we're in, right?
Yeah,
Where um it seems like every other week there's something that comes up that, you know, if a man does, he's either a bum or he's sassy. You know, I remember a time where if a dude took a girl out to Cheesecake Factory, she was more than happy and willing to do that. And because although it's not Ruth Chris, it ain't Burger King and McDonald's either. It's not Applebee's and Chili's, but you know, it ain't here in Texas. We have Perry's Steakhouse.
Perry is
You know,
good.
but all it took was for some woman to get on social media and or to act out and be recorded and it be put up on social media for a certain demographic of women, you know, regardless of color, to jump at it and make it seem like they're all of a sudden too good for it.
Yeah,
Which,
yeah,
granted, that has died down to some degree, but now it's something else, right? It's it's now a Mercedes. And the interesting thing that about it is that I remember a time where a man driving a Mercedes meant he got money.
yeah,
Now, granted, to some degree, which depending on what class of Mercedes you're driving, it still does mean you got money.
yeah,
Granted, they've introduced like the C classes and I guess now the A classes. I'm not a Mercedes guy. Um, that are more affordable for people.
yeah.
As long as you can keep up with the maintenance. But for the most part, it still represents to some degree that you got a little bread in your pocket. But
Yes, sir.
now that's not good enough. And is it and I would question, right? The question that comes to my mind is it because women have, you know, up their financial status and they can afford these things and they too like elegant cars that because they're the ones who are driving it, it now makes it feminine, you know, and to some degree, like with like the C classes, I see a lot of older people driving those. So does that mean like the older men who are driving that, are they sassy? Here's a better question. You go to Germany where Mercedes is the standard vehicle. All your taxis are Mercedes. All your vans are Mercedes. Like the same vans that they get in as party buses here in Germany, those are Mercedes. Your 18 wheeler trucks are Mercedes. So does that mean everybody who drives, every male that drives a Mercedes in Germany, they're all sassy too?
I don't think that she was thinking that far. She was trying to get on here to get them clicks. You know what I'm saying? Hey, the algorithm, you know what I'm saying? It can't discern between hate or cooperation. So long as you get clicked and you get your little viral moment, you possibly, you know what I'm saying, Facebook or TikTok might cut you a check. So she wasn't thinking that far. She was just saying, hey, she woke up, she got up and just said, hey, what can I say to get me some likes?
Well, I mean, and here's the other part of that, right? Now, as a coach, right? As a relationship readiness coach, or some people consider it like a dating coach. Um, for the women who aren't developed enough in their thought process to understand that this don't make no sense, like it's stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
It could potentially lead them down a path that just perpetuates the cycle of this gender war that we're already in, right? This man versus woman, who's better, who's sassy, who's not, who's masculine, who's feminine. Like when I see stuff like this from that perspective, it's kind of exhausting, right? Because it's like there's going to be a certain segment of women who see this and they're like, yes, queen.
What's this? That little
And
stuff they do now.
and it kind of disappoints me because it's like you you can't get ahead. And it seems like for men, it's like, what can we do? Are we even allowed to exist at this point?
That's not now that's the question I was looking for you to ask. Are we allowed to exist? Um, James Brown had the song "It's a Man's World." You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. But what
Some of our audience ain't old enough for that, but
Yeah, yeah. But what comes after that when he says the man's world? But
you putting me on the spot right now. I don't got it.
it wouldn't be nothing without a woman.
All right.
You
Fair
see it?
enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
But it wouldn't be nothing without a woman. Now, let's give that song to a woman today. Do you think that she would say it's a woman's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a man? Do you think that she would say that?
For a good majority of the women, probably not.
Probably not. All right. So, in a woman's world, are we allowed to exist? And how does it becomes a woman's world? If she's a single woman, she pay all her bills. What's the thing? And the things that comes out of her mouth. I don't need a man. So in that world, no, we're not allowed to exist.
It's kind of interesting because I think that people in general, not
Yeah.
and this is not specific to men or women. Um, there's a there's a there's a certain level of complacency that has set in due to the modernization of the world, right?
Right.
In particularly the Western world. Um, and we oftentimes don't think so. I'm in my military background, I obviously think about these things not daily or weekly or monthly, but there are times where it comes into my thought process, especially like if I catch the news out of my side eye, um that this thought process exists because there isn't a real threat of danger on the vast majority of people's life, because nobody's attacking the US to where man, woman, and child's life is truly in danger.
Mhm.
And so because of that, it allows for the thought process of I don't need a man
Yeah.
to exist.
Yep.
Whereas if it were a world where we were underneath the threat, a constant threat like that,
Mhm.
I think that need in the mind would exist more.
But I don't know if you know what I'm saying, you're a watcher of the TV show Naked and Afraid. I don't know if you
Never
watch.
seen it.
Well, I'm a watcher of Naked and Afraid. Well, they had a season on there, and where they had male versus females. You know what I'm saying? They had a season where it was male versus female. Right off the bat, in the male situation, there was a hierarchy. All right, you're gonna be in charge of fish. You're gonna be in charge of when you know what I'm saying. One person took control. Hey, you know what I'm saying. Asked everybody what you're good at. Okay, so you're gonna be in charge of hunting, fishing, and gathering foods and water. You're gonna be in charge of gathering wood. Okay, you the person that can start fire. A whole system. Now this here is with masculine men. You know what I'm saying, with testosterone. You know what I'm saying, and so you know what I'm saying. Anything can go wrong. There might be a chance of violence with men. But when it was time to survive, there was order. Everybody took their job seriously. They made it through. Well, back over in the women's camp, they were still arguing about who's going to be in control. Why are you telling me this? So they went 4 or 5 days with no fire. So what I'm saying with that is that in their mind, we shouldn't exist. They can do bad, they can do better without us. But, and there's always a but, once they get into that formation of without us, and you can see it with, you can say, single mothers, they always revert back to, well, he's not doing anything. Why he's not helping me? Well, you said you can do everything. You can do it. When I you know I was when I got divorced, I got custody of my daughter. I never once called my ex-wife for anything. For anything. I did it by myself. But and
Now,
I never, you know what I'm saying, spoke ill about her. Hey, she's not this, she's not that there. No, I became the custodial parent. I became the individual that had to make shit shake. That's what I did.
okay, so in your opinion, how do we get how do we get people to understand, and particularly, on a large part, it's women. Women claim that they don't need men, right?
Mhm.
I There are a segment of men that claim that they don't need women. Um, but in my opinion, that's more of a reaction to the current state that we're in.
Yeah.
And there's some hurt and some trauma behind that, and therefore they're like, I don't want the drama, I don't want the headache, I don't want the heartache, so it's just better for me to stay over here by myself. Get me a little shorty, a couple shorties that I mess around with, but don't really seriously commit to something.
Yep.
um I was having a discussion with a few coworkers about a topic that they were actually discussing, and I was sitting at the table next to them, and so I kind of jumped into their conversation. Um the question was asked about this the status of where we are relationally in regards to the relationship dynamic, and how do we get men and women to start liking each other again?
Yes. Yes.
How do we get away from this, where videos like this pop up, and it's some random female who starts putting down men, and I don't know if something happened to her or not, but it's just random, where it's like a dude is driving his Mercedes. He worked hard to have enough money to be able to afford one. So let the bro live his life. Why does he have to be considered sassy? Like, and if this is because of some trauma that you experienced in your life, why do you feel the need to put that on everybody when it's only going to
Man,
cause division?
it's one of those thought processes where we have to actually reconfigure society. Uh, in this world, because we say women now say they're the most educated, and you know what I'm saying, they're the most ones who are buying homes, and
Well,
they,
that's not women saying that. That's actually statistically
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
accurate.
So yes, they are. They are. But there's the vice versa to that is they are the highest when it comes to being laid off statistically. They're the ones that they're foreclosing and losing their homes as within the last couple of years statistically. So it's a balance thing. But when a person and I was taught as a young as a kid, I was told to me that you you can judge the character of a person when they're on top. When the person that's on top has disparaging words, you know what I'm saying, and everything, you get to see who they really are. Are they
Mm-hmm.
going to be one of those ones that reach back to help pull up? Are they going to be the ones who sit there and try to motivate? Or are they going to be the ones who talk about it, flash the reason why they're on top, point and laugh and say, I'm better than you? Now, now put that into the modern woman. Which one do you think that the modern woman is?
Well, if you listen to a lot of what you hear on social media is you know the independent woman,
Mhm.
which I kind of I understand the term. As a coach, right?
Yeah.
I actually was having a session with a young lady the other day, who's married, who she asked the question, why do men struggle with the idea of an independent woman? And what I explained to her was, it's not that men fear the idea of an independent woman. It is that in order to be well, first off, the question I ask is you say you're independent. If you look up the definition of what independent means, it means to be without. So who or what are you trying to be without? And oftentimes it's it's to be without men. And it's like, and I ask, okay, so what does that mean for you, right? And they say, well, I pay my own bills, I have, a career, I have all of these things. And and I say, and I try to be not disrespectful when I ask this question. I said, so are you saying that 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 makes you independent, or does that make you simply an adult?
Exactly. An adult.
Like, men have to do the same things when they're single, but you don't ever hear men talking about being independent. It's just
Yeah.
simply being an adult. So
There you go.
if you understand the difference, right, between independence and what that word actually means, right? And if you're any bit of spiritual or believe in the Bible or understand the context of the Bible, right? It says life and death is in the power of the tongue. So when you say that you're independent, you're what you're saying out of your mouth is I can do without a man. So then you are speaking that out into the world. And in return, what do you get? You get no man.
Get no
All
man.
right.
Get
And
no man.
so, and then, so the follow on question that that was asked to me was, so are you saying that I can't, because I'm married, I can't have my own? I can't. I said, no. I said, first off, I don't think that there's a man who wants you to be there are some men. Let me rephrase this. There are some men who want their woman at home, barefoot and pregnant. And oftentimes those men got the means to do so. But for the regular everyday average man, we want you to have something going on for yourself, right?
Yes.
Um so that at least you can take care of what you want for yourself and not have to continuously ask for something.
Hmm.
I said, so, and when I explained it to her, to this, I said, there's three different types of relationships that you can find yourself in. There is the independent relationship, which is you oftentimes by yourself without a partner. Doesn't mean you can't get into a relationship, but in order, a lot of those things that require you eh, to become higher successful, you have to take on some masculine traits. And so if you're not in control of your masculinity, you and the man that you're with are gonna bump heads, and then you're gonna one day find yourself by yourself, right? That's how you end up getting into situationships, right? Where you can't get a man to commit to you is because you're putting off red flags that signal to him that this may not be a long-term commitment, right? So there's
Yeah.
independence, there's codependence, which means that you're at home barefoot and pregnant and you are relying solely on your man to provide for you. And then there's interdependence, which means both of you come together, rely on each other, and then you can have your independence within the confines of that relationship. So like my wife, we're independent, interdependent on each other, but she has her own job. She has her own, she does her own schoolwork and all this other stuff. I have my own job. I take care of majority of the bills. She takes care of the groceries because uh she don't like the way that I grocery shop. She don't like the way that I grocery shop. So I'm
Yeah.
like, cool. If you don't like it, you have the responsibility for paying for the groceries.
Yeah.
And so I think that in order for us to get back to where men and women start liking each other, and I believe it's twofold. Women have control, and they have control in a sense that if they keep the standard, men will have to rise to the occasion.
But here's the thing.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Okay.
But then on the other side of it, men have to elevate themselves both mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially to the point to where they don't get suckered into something that is not beneficial to their life. Because oftentimes men undervalue themselves and they get themselves into these relationships with females that they have no business getting themselves in a relationship with. They get hurt and then they become bitter, or they lose that drive to continue to want to push themselves and succeed.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts?
Well, but see, for honestly, let's use logic. Honestly, unless a woman is out there searching strictly for bums, a man truly has to have some quality that a woman likes, right? Come on.
That's
now,
that.
Think about it.
That's
think about it.
hold on. That's a tricky question, and here's why I say that. Because there's a segment of women who date guys who are in prison.
Well, wait a minute.
But
we're not talking about those. We're talking about our on top. I'm independent. I'm running the world women, right?
No. Hey, listen, bro. I know a woman that had everything going for herself. Got with a bum strictly because he was handsome. He was tall, handsome, and charming.
Charming.
Bro,
Okay.
completely ruined her life. He moved in with her.
Yeah.
Off the rip. He was
now. Why do you think that she didn't see that?
Bruh, to be honest with you, I think there's probably some childhood trauma there, because the guy she was dating before him was in jail.
Okay. Oh. You just put it out. The guy she was dating before him was in jail. So there's two guys, same character, basically.
Both bums.
But if you talk to her alone, she would tell you how good of a woman and how she's a boss babe and how she got everything. Right?
Well, at that point in time, yes.
Yes. All right. So for one of those women to actually say she wants a man to level up. Now, they say they want a man to level up, but we're going to take the young lady that you're using. They say they want a man, and there are men out there on leveling up. And I guarantee you, there was a man that was leveled up that was in pursuance of her.
I was literally just having this conversation today. And you know who that man was? It was me. Me.
See? And so
I had been this was at the time I had been in the military 16 years at this point in time.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, not on her radar.
Now, you want me to believe a woman who can't obviously say, hey, I want someone on my same level as me or better, but then turns around and go get the total opposite 2 times. 2 times.
Actually, 3 times, bro.
That's even worse. 3 times. So that a woman who says she wants this and she give because let's be honest, a lot of these women that's on this internet and be doing all this talking and be saying I want a man with $100,000 and he got to do. They have literally been cycled through by all the bums. They have literally. So now after you 4 and 5 kids in, 3 and 4 different baby daddies, you come to the spot and says, no more am I going to be tricked by guys. So now you're putting yourself back out there to the massive, and you want a guy who's on a level to be able, you know what I'm saying? I'm just I'm not that guy, but we're gonna use me as an example. You know what I'm saying? I'm a thousandaire. I'm a thousandaire. And I have the pick of the litter of women.
He said
Why?
thousandaire.
Yeah, that thousandaire. We're gonna say $1,000. Yeah, we're not gonna say million. We're gonna keep everything in perspective and honesty and logic. So 1,000. I'm making over $100,000. So I get to pick across the board of women. Why would I pick a woman who has 4 and 5 kids, 4 or 5 different baby fathers? She's probably stressed out. She's emotionally tired. She's physically tired. And might even be a little spiritually tired. Why would I, as a man of that stature, want to bring myself into that? Now, I'm a leveled up guy. I'm a leveled up guy. I am a level up guy. I'm here. I'm the top of the 1%. Now let's think about it. Now we look at a woman. She's supposed to be that top 1% of women. Why would she get involved with 3 bums in a row?
I, I haven't had the opportunity to sit down and talk to her about it, but in my best estimation from the research that I've done,
don't blame it on trauma. Don't blame it on trauma.
So it's called it's an attachment issue, right? And it's without necessarily knowing specifically, it's one of the 4 attachment issues. It's either anxious attachments, avoidance attachment, disorderly attachment, and well, it's not the other one because that's a more positive one.
Hold on. I get you're giving the doctoral view of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not Kanye. I'm a Kanye type. I'm a college dropout. So, but could it just be simply the fact that her character is not matching the man that she wants, and her character is matching the man that she obtains?
I think in some instances that could be the case, right? That but let's be honest, right? In some instances, you know, there are some underlying traumatic experiences that affect your ability to make good choices as an adult. Doesn't excuse it, but it does. So and like I can use myself as an example. You know, the things that I experienced in my childhood caused me not to make some best decisions relationally in my adulthood. Now, granted, I didn't know necessarily, but it still doesn't excuse the fact that I made bad choices. it wasn't until I started going to therapy and recognizing these things and became more aware of how I was making bad decisions that I was able to understand that I needed to, for example, not jump into the first girl who try to jump into a relationship with the first girl who showed me attention, because I hadn't received I struggled with friendships and relationships in my childhood. So I was always seeking validation, approval, and connection with people.
Mm-hmm. But Doc, let me throw this stone in there. Why is it men therapy is all about correcting men, but women's therapy is all about finding, I don't want to say excuse, but finding an out? Because as a man, when we go through therapy, even with our hood therapy with our barber and our friends in our neighborhood, yeah, they'll listen, but at the end of the day, they're gonna say, well, what did you do? What you got to do? Pick yourself up. But when a woman goes through therapy, it's let's find out what's the problem. The problem sometimes is you.
I can't speak to so this is just purely my opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
My opinion is that, and this opinion is not based on facts or anything like that. It's just a thought that I had, was that I think that women have to be extremely careful with what therapist they go to, because a therapist can, in particularly a female therapist, can give you advice based off of their ideology. So like if you go to a female therapist who's a feminist, she is likely going to get you to think, especially if you don't have, if in some instances you lack the ability to think on your own.
Yeah.
She's going to put things into your mind that are, she could potentially, let me say, not say absolutes, but she could potentially put things in your mind that are feminist ideology, and then you find yourself in a worse state that than you were when you initially went there. In my opinion, I think that in the therapy realm, women should seek therapy from a man who has who has shown himself not to be interested in her, and the information that he's going to give her and the guidance that he's going to give her is going to actually help her.
Yes. But going back to how we got here and about why we're not liking each other, or the thought process, it's one of these things. I've always equated things when I think about things. We tend to listen to the negative more than we listen to the positive, right?
Meaning, can you explain that?
Meaning because there's an assumption that you're supposed to be good. Okay, so I'll give you the prime example of this. There's two individuals in a store, and one guy is just standing there, you know what I'm saying, not saying nothing, and another guy is just berating and is going and going and going and just attacking everybody in the store. All right. Now, the look upon everybody's gonna look at the guy doing all the talking and yapping and yapping and yapping and yapping. All right. So then he comes and he makes physical contact with the guy who ain't said nothing, just looking and paying him no mind. But then the guy retaliates what's the first thing they're gonna tell the guy who's retaliates? Oh, stop! Why are you doing this? You know you're better than that. So the person who is good, it seems like the expectation of being good, the positive, is there. So you don't really pay no attention to it. You expect positivity from everybody.
Okay, I see where you're going with it.
But we like to indulge in this negative stuff. So within our politics, within everything, the negative is so loud. So it makes it seem like that's what's, you know what I'm saying, what's actually going on. In actuality, there's really more good people than there is negative people. But
Oh yeah. You're absolutely right about that.
but the good get drowned out by all the negativity.
I mean
So,
that's within anything.
but okay, but that's what I'm gonna bring it home. So we hear these negative women on these apps because these apps has given negativity a louder voice. So we hear these negative women because they're loud. And we're not paying attention to the positive women who are actually doing it. Why? Because negativity is wrapped up in face filters, makeup, and all that. So it looks glamorous to us. The positive over here, fresh face, not saying nothing, barely even post something on Facebook or TikTok or whatever. We overlook that. And we give all our attention to these women who spearing out this crazy stuff.
So let me ask you this question. In your opinion, do you think that is a seller problem or a consumer problem?
I think it's more of a consumer problem because economics, baby. What do you provide to the people? What they want. Economics. You're not going to open up a store and sell brown bags when everybody want blue bags, right?
So so I use this as an example, right? OnlyFans.
Yeah.
The only reason OnlyFans exists, the only reason that the corn industry exists is because
Come on.
men consume it.
Men.
If there were no men consuming this, it wouldn't exist. It would be a bunch of females online showing their body and not getting paid for it.
All right. Now keep that thought in your head. Now, if there wasn't women consuming this,
no, men consuming.
No. I'm talking about these women and believing what the sassy stuff and all
Oh,
this other stuff.
okay, got it.
Yeah. If there wasn't women consuming it, do you think that there would be there? All right, stick a pin right there, because you know what I'm saying. We're around the same age. We're around the same age. And you know what I'm saying. I don't know if you was a church goer as a young man. You went to church all the time.
Yes.
I went to church all the time. All right. You remember them old ladies in church when they see a little girl acting fast and they see what they did, they stopped it, right? Mm-hmm. Girl, go sit down. Pull your slip up. Do you know what I'm saying? Act like a lady. I'm gonna tell your mama, sit down. They did all that. Go to church now. Do you see anything like that?
I mean, I don't go into churches like that.
Yeah, I know, but the old ladies in church are dressing like the young girls now. The tight dresses, titties all out, ass all out. They have become that.
Well, if you want evidence of that, ask a woman her age. For some odd reason, they're 25 every single year. So without them even knowing this. So you're 49 years old telling people
Yeah.
that you're 25, but understand the psychology of that. What does that mean? That means that you want to be 25 years old. And so indirectly, you find yourself competing, trying to compete, trying to compete with a 25-year-old. Because if you ask a guy how old he is, he gonna tell you, I'm 40, I'm turning 44 this year.
Yeah, I tell him all the time, "Woo, I'm getting old, baby."
Looking forward to getting a little older so my salt and pepper can fill out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It but back to the point that you made, do you know why the negativity, like that video, gets a lot of attention? It's because it validates a thought process that they have, or if there are women who don't like men.
Mm-hmm.
They
And they are the
either
loud.
either they know it, like they know that they don't like men, or that they they don't know it, right? They or is it that there's a large segment of men that they don't like?
Mm-hmm.
And so hearing this kind of stuff validates the thought that they already have. And so they're like, yes, I agree.
But you but if you want to sell something, you market it to women. All right? You market it to women. If you want to sell something, you market it to women because they buy and women can get their man to buy.
Yeah, 80% of the consumer debt is owned by women in the United States.
Yes, indeed. They buy and they can or they can get their man to buy. All right. Now, let's circle back to the basically the start of all this problem with feminism. They started in magazines. They made the strong woman look beautiful. They made the woman who wanted to, be a family woman, raise kids. They didn't make her up. And this was all in literature with pictures because women are seeing creatures. So the magazines, okay, yeah, the strong woman going out to work. She's in the business suit. She's looking good. Her hair, her fly, her Vogue magazine. She's all this. She's glamorous. The depiction of the housewife, she'll be rattered and tattered and clothed and didn't have nothing. She looked bad and everything. So it's a visual manipulation. Now with this social media, it's become visual and verbal manipulation. Because all these women who spewing this stuff, what's the one thing they do? They go home, they put their weave in or their hair done, their makeup is always fresh, and they hop into this camera. Even the non-attractive woman, they want to be that glamorous woman. So what they gonna do? You know what I'm saying? They're gonna go try to throw some weave on it, put some makeup on it. It probably don't look the same, but they feel like, hey, I'm doing exactly what that person on the app is doing. I.e. the BBLs. I don't care how bad it looks, and they can see for themselves with their own eyes, these butts does not look good. But they still go do it, Juan. They still go do it. You can't sit there and tell me a woman when looking at another woman with a BBL and you see how misproportionate it is, she don't sit there and say to herself, man, that looks bad. But if you look on these apps, that same person will sit there and if it's somebody who is famous that they like, they all on it, girl, you look good. Why you lying? Again, it's the visual and verbal manipulation that allows women to see, because these apps, it's literally all these apps are now, it's basically a bubble. So if you like one or two things in a row, from now on, they're going to push anything that out that could go against what you like. So you stop seeing anything that goes against what your fingers just liked. A few weeks ago, I liked a video of some Asian women playing in some mud. I think they're probably from Thailand or something. Don't you know, just one like on that video, every day I get about 10 or 13 videos on the same goddamn thing.
Yeah, no, I've seen that myself. You don't even have to like it. You don't even gotta like it. If you spend
long period of time.
Yeah, if you spend time on it.
Yeah. So it creates. So this app, this phone, these apps has created a world to where you can block out anything that goes against a click of a like. But literally, but if you like it, if you like 2 or 3 of those videos, those the only thing that you're gonna see. It's like Uno. It's just flipping you the same card over and over and over and over until your mind is starting to register. This is what I like now. That's what they did with women in feminism.
So, that's a good point that you bring up, because I'm writing a book right now on the gender war, right? And in my research, I think I'll probably be I think I should have it done by um the end of November, hopefully. But the gender war was kind of this bubbling thing, right? That was, it was happening, but nobody was really talking about it, and it's really started with the second and third wave of feminism. But when social media really took off, in particularly TikTok, it exploded like a nuclear explosion, right? And I release videos on TikTok, but I don't go on TikTok.
Yeah.
Because it's extremely messy out there. There's good content out there, but there's a lot of messiness, and I get it, right? There is a certain segment of women who are frustrated with men, right? Now, a large portion of those women make horrible choices in the guys that they choose. So they kind of write the check that they ask cashes. But they get on there and they air their grievances. Some of it makes sense. A lot of it just pure dumb shit. But what it's done is it's gotten guys to the point where they're like, yo, you tripping. And so now guys are getting on TikTok and podcasts, and they're like, nah, you chicks is wilding. And so now it's just like going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And nobody's really winning. We're further apart than we've ever been.
I don't never think, to me, I don't think there's a war, because you know what I'm saying, in a war, you know what I'm saying, there's retaliation. Men don't retaliate, because at the end of the day, men have, as always said, We need women. But the guys that gets on there, what they're saying is, hey, well, wait a minute, you're saying that all of us are this, and you're saying that all of us is that, and it's not. Because let's speak facts. Facts is there are more women with kids than there are men with kids. So
I mean,
that
but
means
that's by design though.
hold on, hold on,
That's
hold on, hold on,
because hold on,
hold on, hold on.
that I can't let you spit that one out because that's because if you are a good man, right? Like
Mhm,
myself, who who had I been given the opportunity to
mhm.
during my divorce, I would have
Yeah,
gladly taken my kids with me.
yeah, yeah.
I would have gladly taken my kids with me,
No,
and
no, no, I'm
and
not, no, but hold on, Juan.
yeah.
I'm not talking about, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about never having kids. Men, there are men out there that never have kids, that don't have kids, like not doing divorce, that
Oh,
hasn't
okay.
dropped a seed, that
Well,
hasn't dropped a
shit.
seed.
There's what is it? The last time I checked, it's like 31% of men between the age of 18 and 35 have never had a sexual partner.
Yes, and I was going to get into that.
Okay.
I was going to get into that. You know what I'm saying? Because and women, I could only say I can't give the professional version out there like Dr. Juan can. So I can only say it the way it comes to my brain. Excuse me, but men cannot pick up a phone and say, "Hey," like there's always exception to the rule. You know what I'm saying? The top
Mhm.
1% guy, but your average guy can pick up a phone and says, "Hey, I'm gonna go sleep with Virginia tonight. I'm gonna go feed with Kelsey tonight." But the ugliest of the ugliest woman, she can pick up a phone call, and it don't matter what it is. Hey, come over. Somebody gonna come over tonight.
Okay, true.
True. So that lets you know right then and there. That lets you know right then and there. That's one example to let you know right then and there that it's not a war because we're not going back and forth with you because a lot of us are not even in the game. We're not even getting, a lot of men are not even getting a chance. Just you said, the 30% of men who haven't had a sexual experience before, they're not even in the game to compete.
That you're 100% correct. However, a lot a lot of men, because they aren't in the game and they haven't been given the opportunity to be in the game, it is not from a lack of um wanting to be,
Mhm.
it's from, and I know you've seen like the videos where the the guy with the fancy car that's not super attractive or whatever, he
Yeah,
goes
yeah,
over and
yeah,
talks to a girl and she's like, no. And then he hits the little boop, boop on his car, and
yeah,
she sees that he's got this fancy car, and all of a sudden now she's interested in him.
yeah,
Well, take away the car.
yeah.
And that's a lot of those guys, that's their experience. And
But
so hold on, give me a second. That's their experience. So then, they get introduced to, you know, the Fresh and Fit podcast, or,
yeah,
and I've watched their stuff, and they have some good pointers in there if you can, if you're smart enough and intelligent
read
enough
past the
to
BS.
figure it out. But
Yeah,
if just like there are certain videos that validate a woman's experience, there's also certain videos that validate a man's experience as well. And so they when they think about their experiences, it infuriates them, and now there's an opportunity to them for them to voice their opinion. So what's happening is that segment of men who are frustrated are the ones who are conveying their frustration, where
Is
the guys like you and I, yes, we're having a conversation, and some of the things that we're talking about are uncomfortable.
yeah,
It would be uncomfortable for some women to watch, and it may be uncomfortable for some men to watch.
yeah.
Our It's not coming from a place of anger or frustration or hurt or trauma. It's coming from a place of, hey, we need to have these conversations so we can move
But
past it.
but one like with those podcasts, like when those podcasts are speaking directly to just men, all right, those podcasts, but and this is what I say, because you know what I'm saying, I was a you know what I'm saying, I was an avid listener of the Godfather Kevin Samuels before you know what I'm saying, all the other stuff came into fact. Now, what you're gonna see with brother Kevin Samuels is the conversations where women comes in and he just gives a true statement. I mean, his belief of the truth about what it is with women.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when he was starting, and he was just going in pre-pandemic, and people was listening to him, because I was one of the first followers of Kevin Samuels. It was all about men talking, hey,
Mm-hmm.
to
Yep.
us guys.
Yep. No, I know that.
Better yourselves. Get yourself the education. You know what I mean? Better up your hygiene. Always
Get your
talk.
money right.
Get your money right. If you do not have the financial means to go out there and date, you shouldn't be dating a woman. You got to make yourself better. You got to make yourself better. So a lot of the men podcasts that first started out like that. Now, I was very skeptical, because I was a weekly watcher, and I can vaguely remember the first episode when he allowed a woman to come into the thing, and this when the thing started transitioning, where women was coming in to bash men, and he was like, hold up, we're not gonna do that. But they just kept coming in because they thought that he was bashing men, which he wasn't. Because men, we can sit there and have a conversation with each other. Hey man, you gotta do better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta get your shit together, dog. Man, you know what I'm saying? You're out here getting big, you getting fat, you just looking late. We can have those conversations, and we're not bashing each other.
Right.
I think women can't have that conversation with each other, because they're gonna automatically think that you're bashing. So when he started opening up and the women started calling in, and it switched from that, he was like, okay, and I get it. Sometimes he would, you know what I'm saying? Yes, but he found this niche, you know what I'm saying? Because nobody's gonna want to just sit out here and and invoke all their time into something and not try to make any monetary gain into something. But he turned the page. Okay, well, damn, well, women are starting to call, and he allowed them to say what they say, and they did what they did about Ben, and then he'll go into defense mode, and not really defense mode, but he'll say, well, he give you the B side to the A side.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with us men, and a lot of these podcasts with us men, we take on the ownership mostly of our failures. Even with the freshest fit, they talk about, man, you not have, hey, you can't do this. If you're not this, you don't have no need to try to even qualify for a woman of this stature or that stature. And then we can have those communications with one another, and not feel that it's being too harsh. Now, when no hard truths are turned towards a female, I believe that they can't associate, you know what I'm saying, a conversation about improvement without thinking that, hey, you're coming for me. And
Yeah.
so So when I say that I don't think that there's really a war, yes, these guys who's been hurt and yeah, they're gonna frustrate you, but we're as men, we're always gonna check that. Yes, they come on and those segment of guys who come on and listen to Fresh and Fit, they get checked by Fresh and Fit. So what are you doing for yourself? Are you just standing in your mama bedroom playing video games, not doing under, are you going to the gym? Are you doing, they check those guys. So we have a check system in place with men. They don't.
I agree. Well, there used to be.
You know that's true. There used to be.
Yeah, there used to be.
There used to be. Like I told you about Granny at church, the old lady at church. There used to be a check. Well, their check system has gone. And so what happens when you can't check or you can't correct or you can't give an idea to something? If you allow your grass, even in the heat of Texas, if you don't cut your grass 3 or 4 months, it might not be grass no more, but you have some tall weeds.
Listen. Listen. Hey, listen. I know all too well what you talk about because I had the grass was like I had a forest in the backyard because I was just not going back there. So I understand that analogy perfectly.
And that's what we got now. You know what I'm saying? We got some beautiful lawns, you know what I'm saying, that's out there, but we got right now, but we're only getting the weeds. And even though you probably have, like my yard, I keep my yard cut, but I got this nasty ass neighbor next door that don't cut her fucking grass. So it takes away from the beauty of my yard.
Yep.
That's what's going on right now. The weeds takes away from the beauty of the grass that's out here. So we'll ride by in our car. We're not going to even mention the pretty yard because our attention is going to be already directed towards the bad grass. You ride by, oh man, look at that. And you don't even pay attention to the yard right next to it is probably pristine, green, and doing everything, but we're not going to pay attention to it.
But here's the kicker, though. Here's the kicker. It brings down the value of the homes that are surrounded.
Women, did you get that? Did you get that analogy? He said it brings down the value of the homes around it. So while y'all all out there clocking tea and eating and doing all that there, the value associated with the woman is coming down.
Well, you gotta make sure that you're specific with that. The ones who are loud and negative and spewing all of those things, right? And it has forced guys to not want to commit to relationships. And the thing is, guys want relationships. The vast majority of men want relationships. The guy that works at the gas station or at McDonald's that's 21 just starting his life off, he wants a relationship. The guy who's a middle manager at some warehouse or at some tech company, he wants a relationship. The guys who are the top 1% of the well, not the top 1%. Let's go with the top 10% because studies have shown that 80% of men that are millionaires are married, or that are billionaires are married. So there's some value in there. But the top 10% of men who are your ball players and your Drakes and your blah 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 who live these wild, extravagant lives. Listen, I don't know why, if you're the person who's looking for a long-term relationship, and I'm speaking to my ladies here, if you're looking for a long-term relationship, why would you look there? Why would you
Hey,
look there when there are guys out here who, like myself, I make a good amount of money, but you would never know by looking at me because I don't drive a fancy car. I drive an SUV that that I just bought back in September, so it's brand new. And it's a Hyundai because I like Hyundais. I've been a Hyundai guy since I first joined the military, so I'm kind of loyal to them. But my car is brand new. I got a nice 3,000 square foot home. Um, but I live a very average life. I take my wife on vacations at least once or twice a year. We're always popping up at different sporting events, and stuff like that. But as far as vacation goes, once or twice a year, because she got work, I got work. Um, but she's taken care of.
yeah,
She if she don't want to work, she don't have to work.
yeah,
And so, but if I was single, still in that same position, for a vast majority of these women, I would never be on their radar. Why? Why? Because I'm not 6 foot, not
nope,
even close to it. I'm 5'3". I wear a size 6 shoe.
yeah,
I got small hands, small feet, a big ass head, big muscular arms and chest because I work out.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I work hard. I make a good amount of money. I'm definitely in the top 10% of money earners. But I don't live an extravagant life like that.
You're not supposed to.
And so I wouldn't be on any of these of a lot of these women's radar. But you know what? If I was single and didn't have a wife, the thing about me is that if you got with me and you earned your spot as my partner, you would be
Yeah.
good to go. Because
Hey,
I don't cheat. Hell, I go to work.
come
I
home.
come I come home. I go to the gym. I working on my business. I'm doing podcasts. I'm writing books. I ain't got time to be chasing these heifers out here because half of them ain't no good anyways. Like you see the what's his name, Johnny Depp and the Kang the Conqueror. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Like
Jonathan Major.
Jonathan Majors, like females be scaring me nowadays because I got a little bread. I got a little bread in my pocket, so I'm like, hey,
Just a
listen,
little bit. Just a little bit.
y'all ain't about to set me up. Nah, I'm good. I'll stay my ass at home. You
At home,
know,
baby.
at home, so you can't even pretend that I even looked your way. Nah, I'm good.
Hey, but Juan, check this out. You was at the Chris Brown concert, right?
Yep.
Now, most likely there was some married women and you know what I'm saying, in committed relationship women at that concert, right?
Mm-hmm. There was one right in front of me.
Okay, right in front of you. You do you believe that, and just your honest opinion, if Chris Brown was to pick that person, do you think she would have went back to the hotel with Chris Brown?
Oh,
Be honest now. Be
okay.
honest.
So I'm gonna give you my honest assessment. Yes.
Yes.
And the here's the reason why.
Yes.
It was it was less about her and more about her man because her man was there with her. And
That
he
that
he he you could see that there's a compatibility issue there
mhm.
because he was rigid and she was loose, she was enjoying herself, having a good time, and you could tell that he wasn't really into it.
But you could understand why he wasn't into it, right? A guy on the stage, a guy on stage can make your woman body gyrate for 2-3 hours for doing something that he does every other night in a different city with different girls, but she don't do the exact same thing for you at home, and you provide a living for her.
See, I can't make that assessment because I don't know. I just based off
But
of what I saw.
hey, that's Dr. Juan. He can't make that assessment, but we're gonna think logically because that's how I'm a logical man. That's how this logical man thinks. You know what I'm saying? I'm somewhere with my woman and I'm seeing something comes out of my woman that with me don't come out or hasn't come out or not something that's on the regular come out. But we go somewhere and a couple of words from an individual on the stage can make her act a certain way. That's going to make me feel a little rigid too.
See, so I don't see it that way because like I was there with my wife, right? My wife bought the tickets.
Mm-hmm.
This was she wanted to go. I had already seen Chris Brown before. Um, I I don't know if you saw my picture. Your boy was dressed. Your
Hey, you
boy was
really
looking.
saw,
Hey,
okay,
your
boy.
boy was looking fly. And
Hey, you
if in
really
my
saw, okay,
honest
boy.
assessment, and this ain't coming from an egotistical standpoint, maybe just a little bit, your boy was the best dressed in the building as far as dudes go. All 5'3" of me was best dressed.
Hey,
And
you was sharp,
hey,
okay,
look,
boy. You
I
was
know, hey,
sharp,
look,
okay, boy.
I know there was some chicks checking your boy out, but that's nor here nor there. um, me and my wife had a interesting conversation about that. But so I am I'm an R&B guy. So I grew up in the 80s and the 90s growing up on R&B. So Chris Brown is one of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
So I cut loose while I was there. Me, my wife, her sister flew in from Belize for the concert. The three of us were there. We cut loose, you know, for the whole time because Bryson Tiller was on stage first, Janae Aiko was on stage second, um, and
Janae
then
was
Chris Brown. Say what?
there? Janae was there?
Yes, sir. No, your heart hurting. Yeah.
Hey, that's
but
Bay right there. That's Bay right there.
but so let me tell you my story, right? So I at first, right, I was kind of feeling some kind of way because I'm like, I want, I want to be in, uh, you know, I don't want to look like I'm grooving too hard, right?
Yeah. Got to keep your man points up.
But then as there's a couple of different dynamics that I'm watching because we're kind of elevated. Is that there's like the guy in front of me who I don't even know if he was a Chris Brown fan. I think he's just there because his wife is there. Then there's the group of guys who are there with their girl, and they're kind of moving a little bit, but they're not really into it. But their girls are hugging up on him and dancing with him, and so they're kind of dancing because their girl is dancing. And then there's the group of guys who are fans like me, and they're in it. So I see them and I'm like, okay, I can cut loose. But my wife was cutting loose on an equal level, right? Because we both are music fans. I do music production and I work with artists or whatever. And so I'm a music fan at heart. And so when I think about their specific dynamic, it just there is some sort of difference in
Yeah.
in either the love for music, the specific artist that was on stage. Um, I think probably maybe he was just there to support his wife because she wanted to go, and he wasn't maybe necessarily interested in being there, because
Yeah.
that's not his cup of tea. So
Yeah.
I don't want to say that, you know, um, she's doing something out of character, but there is definitely the potential that, but I can also understand that the potential, if that potential came where Chris Brown picked her specifically out of the crowd, that she might have made that choice. My wife's not making that choice because she understands what she has to lose. And that's not me trying to boast myself up. It is me making the choice on a daily basis to be the to present myself to her as the absolute best man that she could possibly get. Not to say that there aren't better men than me,
Yeah. I get you. I know what you're
because
talking about.
there are better men than me,
Mhm.
financially, emotionally, spiritually, blah blah blah. But I'm progressing on a daily basis. I'm getting better,
Yeah.
in the way that I communicate, the amount of money that I make, the ventures that I get myself into, how I provide for my family, how I protect for my family. I'm always thinking and doing. I'm never resting. And if I
Yeah.
am, it's usually on like Saturday afternoon when my team is playing, or on Sunday when my team is playing. But then when I'm done watching them, I'm back in the studio working on something.
Bringing it out, bringing it in, bringing it in. Yeah.
And so my wife, the way that she views me, she views me through the lens of, is it worth it for me to do X, Y, and Z and potentially lose my husband?
All right. I'm gonna leave you with this one here. I'm gonna leave you with this one here. I'm gonna leave you with this one here. And this maybe can lead into the next show, you know what I'm saying, next week. Now, I'm gonna make a couple of statements and I want you to agree or disagree with me. Now,
Okay, shoot.
I you've heard the Chris Rock statement where he says that, you know what I'm saying, men love unconditionally, women love on the condition of. And you put whatever you probably seen that little
Yeah,
meme
I
and
know what you're
everything.
saying.
You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, do you think, because we understand that women's love, it comes with a condition you're able to provide, condition you're able to love her the way that she wants to be loved, a whole bunch of conditions. Does that make it easier for a woman to step out on her significant other? Because because if one of those conditions are not met, in her mind, she's able to exit stage right, or go in search or be open to someone to feel that condition.
Um, I would say that in the cases where um men aren't stepping their game up, absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. And I like that you said that part. Men are not stepping their game up. But now let's flip it on that. Do you think that men have that same excuse for a woman? Because what we what we know about men, and a lot of men, not all, but a lot of men, when they look at their woman and they love their woman unconditionally, but really there are probably about two conditions where a man be like, I maybe could. It's do you know those two things?
Sex being number one.
Yes, and one more.
Respect being number two.
Hit him on the back. Sex and spec. But do you see men leaving their marriage when those two things go by the wayside? Do you see a lot of men sticking around, hoping that it gets better? Do you see a lot of men, you know what I'm saying, staying instead of saying, hey, since you're not doing these two things, I'm gonna dip out?
A majority of men stay.
Majority of the men stay.
The majority of the men stay. They may step out if they have the ability
Ability.
and
Okay.
the options available to them to step out. They will likely step out. Will they likely end their marriage? No.
No, no. All right. So with that understanding, with that understanding, who in your, you know what I'm saying, educational background and being a relationship coach, who is capable of true love?
A bit nuanced answer is men have the men have more of the, especially in today's society when women have, let me say it this way. Back in the day, I
Come
would
on.
say it was probably equal, right?
Yeah.
Where when women's selection of men was to their immediate circle, their immediate city, their immediate city range, usually within, 20 to 30 miles of their home, depending on how far they lived or from a city or how big the city was. Now with today's the availability of
Come
men
on.
ranging from bums to the highest quality of men,
Come on.
um that has tainted women's ability to love, um to tap into the ability to love men unconditionally. um
Damn. And why? And why? And why? Give me the why. You got to give us the why,
because
doctor.
the reason why is because if you as a man aren't measuring up, they believe that they could always go find somebody who's bigger and better.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, y'all, from a professional, not the logic man, but the professional, the ability to do better. And when you feel like, from this is my thought process, when you feel like you have the ability to do better, but you constantly don't do better, the problem is you. The problem,
Can you explain what you're saying there? Because you kind of lost me a little bit.
what I'm saying is, because you saying that a person has the ability to do better, meaning that they have the ability to choose.
Well, they believe that they have the ability.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They believe they have the ability to choose.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're choosing, all the onus is on you. The onus is not on nobody else, because you have to actually think about said persons in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I've chosen two women in my life. Two women. No, three. Three. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Three women. I've chosen three women in my life. One I got married to. You know what I'm saying? Got a daughter, precious young lady, but it didn't end well. And the reason why I chose that one, because in actuality, I was technically with somebody, but I thought I was getting better. I thought I was getting better. You know what I'm saying? I seen this beautiful little thing at the gas station pump, and I was thinking to myself, that's better than what I already got. So I chose to go after that. The second one, after I left that one that I got better, you know what I'm saying? I once again thought I had something. I chose to pack me and my daughter up and move to Texas. And this third one, you know what I'm saying? After the one that got me to Texas and you know and later videos, you know what I'm saying, later you know what I'm saying, episodes, I'm gonna break this second one down to y'all, you know what I'm saying? Because this second one was a doozy. But this, you know what I'm saying? So, but after the second one, you know what I'm saying, she ran amok on me because I chose, because I thought I was getting better once again, because I had something else, but I thought I was getting better. And the reason why I thought I was getting better, because she was a cutie. You see what I'm saying? This third one, some told me to choose a little bit wiser on this third one. Because you fell for the big butt that smile poison. You know what I'm saying? And you chose that Arico Suave. Because you know how to be out there in Texas, you know what I'm saying? Them Latinos. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Once again, I let the outer pin because I thought I was getting better. But the third one, I had to make a correction. And that seems to be more logical with men. You know what I'm saying? We might go one or two times where the ability to choose, but at some point we gets it right. We get it right.
Yeah, that's usually, you know, when you reach a point in your life where you are ready to settle down and you have positioned yourself to be able to take on the responsibility of somebody else. I know we're getting ready to wrap up, but I want to say that yes, you're 100% right. Women have the ability to choose whatever men that they want. But as the old saying goes, all money ain't good money. And Chris Brown got a song out there that says the grass ain't greener on the other side. Sometimes you can leave a relationship prematurely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so when I got divorced, or when, you know, my ex divorced me, there was a stage I was at in my life. I was on this stage where I was in therapy, trying to do better, blah blah blah. And you know, she felt like whatever the damage had been done, which she had the right to feel that way. Do I like the way that she went about it? Absolutely not, because I think, you know, we could have. There was room for us to work through our issues, right? And to even in the divorce, be adults about it and handle things in a respectful manner. It didn't go that way. But I was starting to upward trend because I had discovered that, you know, I had a lot of trauma that I hadn't dealt with. And so I was in therapy when I got the surprise divorce papers. It's like, surprise, as soon as I got off the plane coming back from overseas. But where I was at that point in my life and where I am at now, two totally different ones. And you know, it's been a progression over the years. Have I always gotten it right? No. Um do I get it all? Do I get it right now, even in my marriage of 6 years? No. I'm
Oh,
in my studies of relationships, I've still learned things that I need to be doing better. I need to be, yes, I'm emotional, I have emotional intelligence, but I could always be better.
yeah.
And so if if let's say hypothetically, if, well, knock on wood, if my wife were to one day pick up and just decide that she wants to leave because she sees an opportunity somewhere else, which she doesn't have that kind of personality, but I know in the back of my mind that it is it is a potential because of the hypergamous nature of a woman. Um, then she could chase the greener grass on the other side and potentially miss out on a blessing.
And that right there is typically how a so-called good man feels. He
Well,
feels.
we gonna say that topic because I already got some ideas for our next discussion. So
Yes,
we'll say
sir.
that
Yes, sir.
topic for our next uh relationship talk episode.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
with that
sir.
being said, Big G, where can they find you?
Hey, baby. Always only on Instagram, baby. Wise and smart MF22.
Hey
Come.
man, listen, I want to make sure that people got it correct. There is no MF on there because
Okay. But it
it's
should have been an
wise
MF.
is wise and smart 22.
Well, it should have been an MF. I got to go back straight there because that MF is a part of, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't even gonna lie, you know what I'm saying? If you know me, know that right there is my password to, nah, let me stop that. But anyway, it should be MF on there. You know what I'm saying? It
Uh,
should be MF because that MF is very president. You know what I'm saying? President with everything because I am a MF.
you wildin'. All right, so as it is right now, wise and
Why,
smart 22 on
why
Instagram.
Why the Smart 22 on Instagram? Come have fun with me. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, one day I can be a preacher. One day, you know what I'm saying, I can be a playboy. One day I can be an activist. One day I can turn around and be a revolutionary. You know what I'm saying? I'm multicultural over there on Wise and Smart 22. But it's all fun. It's all love. And you know, I share some wild stuff. If you're coming over there to be eyes for the government, please don't come. You know what I'm saying? Hey, because I really do my due diligence by adding people. So I just don't add people to add people. But hey, if you come over there, just come over there with the open mind of having fun, laughing, and just creating a whole bunch of chaos.
So what you saying is they should probably drop you a DM and let them know that they found you via the podcast, right?
That'll be the best course of action.
All right. And for everybody who's looking for Coach Juan, it's the Personal Alignment Lab on Instagram. You could DM me, and if you're interested in a free 30-minute coaching session where we can kind of decide whether or not you want to receive some coaching from me, hit DM me on Instagram, and I'll get you the information that you need. Big
Hey,
G.
hey, hey, hold on. Now, he's a professional love doctor. Hey, if you want to come over and get some real reality with your boy, I'm gonna give it to you raw and uncut. Hey, you can DM me too. We can talk about your love life too.
Oh, and before I go, if you guys get an opportunity, I have Align Love, the modern guide to finding and building fulfilling relationships. This is basically a tool that you can use if you're single, just coming out of a relationship, looking to start over, figure out where things went wrong, or if you're struggling with trying to get access to men or to women. Pick up the book. It's an easy read. It's designed that there's a lesson, there's reflection, and then there's exercises for each chapter, and it takes you through everything from um, becoming more self-aware, um, dating strategies, positioning, strategic positioning online and in person. There's a chapter on um, confidence and presence in for men, and feminine radiance for women. And then there's chapters on like independence and interdependence and codependence, how they look between the three of them. So yeah, if you're looking for a tool, an easy read, or just want to figure out some things, check this out. It's available on Amazon for $20, I think, something like that.
Hey, y'all support my boy. He got college tuition he got to pay for. Yeah.
Not yet. My daughter ain't she ain't started college yet.
Oh, she ain't started yet?
Nah. Oh,
Okay.
nah. You know what? Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't need your money for college tuition. Go get the book for yourself. Don't worry about me. I'm good. Get it for yourself.
For yourself.
Cause my daughter can go to school in Texas for free.
But hey, and you know what I'm saying, and he gonna help me start write my first book. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? For y'all ladies who dealing with men who've been out there in them streets, life after being a Rolling Stone. That's gonna be the name of my book.
All right, y'all. Hey,
right,
tune in next week for our next relationship talk with Juan and Big G.
Hey, baby. Thanks for
Y'all
having me,
be
baby.
good.
Yes, sir.